Hi.
Hi.
I'm Dee, this is Pete. We've got a 45-minute express balance practice for you. And we're not going to muck around, we're going to start in hamstring hammock because we just did a really epic Pilates class.
Oh, yes.
And hamstrings are a little bit sore, among other things. So we're going to get straight into it for our sake. And you guys can benefit too. So if you don't have a strap, don't worry. You can just use your hands. Interlace your hands behind your leg. Doesn't matter which leg you do first. We're just going to go one side to the other. And if you want to bring other props in, if you've got weight bags, eye pillows, bolsters, then you can bring in some more props. Close your eyes. Take in some deep breaths so you can allow yourself, one, to land here in your practice, that is, wherever your space is. But here meaning the present moment. Quite often we get caught up in the backlog of the day. When we are completely present, that's when we're wide awake. When we're stuck in past or future, then we're asleep to the present moment. And our awake intellect, our awake mind is known as Buddhi. It's the aspect of ourself that knows, that has this sense of knowing, not on an intellectual scale, on a language scale. Much deeper than that. So with every breath, allow yourself to wake up, to slip into the experience of Buddhi. Notice the mind and its distractions and busyness, that's its nature. But diving deeper than that. Our Buddhi is our higher intelligence when it's purified through meditation, and it's known as our awake mind. It's our internal teacher. You know, we quite often look outside of ourselves for teachers and role models and mentors, but we actually have one very powerful teacher, and it lies within. But we get stuck in the nature of the mind, we get stuck in distractions. And the mind doesn't like to be still and present and conscious. And so it causes us suffering, it fights us. Technique to tap into that awake mind, that Buddhi, that internal teacher, is meditation, which this quiet balance practice, our Yin Yoga, is perfect for. So you've got 5 more breaths. Dive in deep. we're going to straight swap to the other side. So when you're ready, you can let the right leg go and swap it over with the left leg, however you want to do that. And you might need to swap over your props as well. If you chose to utilize some more props, then swap them over to suit. Through the purifying practices of yoga, the purifying practices of meditation, our Buddhi is our awakened and illuminated mind. It's the place where we know, and it's a knowing of an essence deeper than the superficial labels that we give things. It's that knowingness that, if you're faced with a problem or a dilemma and your intellect, your intellectual mind just, can't decide which road to go down, which path to take, what the answer is, that's when we really dive in. That's where we turn in, clear the mind through some breathing and meditation, to allow that higher intelligence, that Buddhi, that awakened intelligence. That's the place of knowing the essence. When we tap into that place, then we know which path to take. We know, which direction to head. We know the answer to the questions that we have. But as I'm sure most of you have experienced in your own practice, meditation is tough. Because the mind doesn't like to be contained. It likes to run off in all different tangents, all different directions. It likes to chew on things and churn and stir. It's what we call the vrittis. But we know that meditation has been scientifically proven to change the structure and the function of our brains. And we also know that it bears fruit from the very first moment that you start to practice. The benefits are instant. Physiologically, mentally, emotionally. And so maybe for these last 5 breaths for this side, maybe just ask yourself for a moment, what's my relationship with meditation? Because without it, without the formal practice of meditation, however that is, what style, whatever that looks like, but without it, we don't get to tap into that deep ocean that is the ocean of consciousness, the awakened, illumined mind we know as Buddhi. Slowly release the strap if you've got a strap. If you're just using your hand behind the leg, then just release the leg down. Extend the leg long, pop the strap off to the side, and just lay flat for a moment. I'm going to take butterfly, so helping yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Utilising any props that you have, bolsters, blankets, pillows. Soles of feet together, knees wide. The distance between your heels and your groin is completely up to you. If you want them nice and close, then bring them in. If you want them further out, take them wide. I like to take them nice and long. And then lean forward, tuck your chin, close your eyes. Utilise the props as you need to. So you can have your bolster on an angle, rest the forehead in. You can have the bolster on your lap even, just kind of hang over. Or you can just have the bolster out in front, lean into it. We can liken our Buddhi to the deep part of the ocean of consciousness, we call it. The distractions of the mind are like the surface of the ocean, the waves crashing on the shore, and even deep out into the ocean, the surface part of the oceans where the weather interferes and creates turbulence. But when you dive in deep to the depths of the ocean of consciousness, there's this level of stillness and peace that it doesn't matter how turbulent, how severe the weather is at the surface, deep down it's still, it's calm. What meditation gifts us, one of many gifts of meditation, is being able to tap into that place. That the mind's constantly thinking, constantly distracted, going off into stories and dramas and off into tangents. But when we dive into a meditation practice, we get to dive deeper than the superficial surface. It's what we call the witness state. Where we stand still in the center of a, massive storm, right in the eye of the storm, and all, the mind's clinging attachments and aversions and delusions. That's the storm that's around us. But the witness, we're in the eye of the storm, right in the center, in the place where it is calm and peaceful, and we're just watching. We get to see through the storm without any reaction when we tap into the depth of Buddhi, of the depth of the ocean of consciousness. It's where we get to see clearly. And it's a very healing place.
We get to loosen the shackles of our old habits and patterns. We wake up, in fact, to those habits and patterns, which is why it's called the awakened, the illumined mind. When we tap into that place, it is our best and most powerful teacher. You got 5 breaths. Supported fish from here. So slowly unravel yourself. Bring your bolster or pillow blanket behind you to support your ribcage. You can keep your legs in butterfly if you want to, soles of feet together, knees wide. You can swap it so you have an internal rotation, feet wide, knees in, or you can just let your legs go long. Just make sure your pillow, blanket, bolster supporting your ribcage. Armpits at the top of your bolster, arms out wide. Extend the head back so it's resting either on the floor or on a prop, another pillow, a blanket, weight bag, block, whatever works. Our Buddhi, our awakened, illumined mind, is the place of knowingness. Where if we're at a crossroads, our Buddhi, our higher intelligence, knows which way to go. It's the distractions of the lower mind that get confused. They're the ones that are really loud all the time. It's the place, the awakened, illumined mind is the place where we know who we are, we know what we want, and we know where to go and how to get it. And there's a beautiful story, the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most popular and known traditional texts of yoga, has like a lifetime's worth of learnings in there, but the story goes that the warrior prince Arjuna was met with a dilemma whether or not to battle in a war, because his purpose as a warrior is to fight. But the war that he was fighting, or the opponents that he was fighting, were family and friends and teachers and mentors and gurus, people that he was supposed to, worship. And so he was met with this dilemma, this internal conflict, and he didn't know what to do, and he basically just gave up in a pool of depression. And his illumined mind, his Buddhi, who in the story was another character, if you like, known as Krishna. Krishna said to Arjuna, you don't know how to act, you don't know what to do, because you don't know who you are. The lower mind is in control and is confusing you with the dilemmas of this material world. But if you dig deep, dive deep into the illumined, awakened mind of Buddhi, you will know. You will know exactly who you are and exactly what you need to do. And the story goes that Krishna guides him through all the practices of yoga for him to wake up to the essence of who he is. So again, I offer you the question to ask yourself, what is my relationship with the practice of meditation? Five more breaths. Slowly come up. We're going to take a bolster twist. So use your elbows, engage your core, just pick yourself up. You're just going to turn your bolster around so it's now lengthways with your mat. And then it doesn't matter which side you do first because we're just going to swap it over straight to the other side. So you want to wedge the bolster into one hip, and then you're going to bring your chest down onto the bolster and a cheek. It'll depend on your neck range and comfort as to which side cheek you're going to utilise. For the full rotation, for the full twist, if you're laying on your right hip, then your left cheek will be on the bolster or the prop. If you're laying on your left hip, then the right cheek will be the full rotation. Not suitable for everyone though, so you can utilise the opposite, or you can even bring your hands, forearms, your forehead to rest on your hands or forearms. Just choose what's appropriate for you for your bolster twist. We've got our SMILE program, our 21-day challenge coming up. Starting Monday week, and there's 4 different aspects to the practice or to the challenge. And one of them is our meditation, daily meditation practice. And it's a part of the yoga tradition and the yogic science that, you know, a lot of people really struggle with. And it's because we're not taught how to sit quietly. We are constantly being stimulated and constantly have distractions all around us, multitasking. How many times, you know, you're doing one thing, but you're on your phone as well as having a conversation and doing your work and having a cup of tea, and, you know, there's this constant stimulation. And so when we sit and close our eyes in this level of stillness, we suffer. We have this experience of suffering. And it's called dukkha in the yogic world. And it's very well known to all practitioners, all yogis, all gurus, all teachers know that sitting down to meditate creates dukkha, creates suffering. And dukkha translates to suffering, but a better definition, I think, for it is this all-pervasive unsatisfactoriness. Just this feeling of disconnect and discontent as well. And it's because the nature of the mind is distraction. The mind clings. Main three functions and aspects of the mind is its clinging, it likes to attach, its aversions, likes to run away, our likes and dislikes, and our delusions, it puts a fakeness and a clouded and coloured view on the world. But without a formal meditation practice, we're unable to connect deeply to the depth of the ocean of consciousness, our Buddhi, that higher intellect. We just get stuck on the surface of the ocean and thrown around by the waves and the weather. So again, I ask you, what is your relationship with meditation? Five breaths. It is a straight swap over to the other side, so you could just leave your bolster or your prop where it is and flip yourself over. So peel yourself up off the bolster, flip your hips over so you're laying on the opposite hip, and then for the full rotation, if you're laying on your left hip, it's right cheek. If you're laying on your right hip, it's left cheek. Otherwise, just whatever's appropriate. I find with my own personal practice that when it gets challenging, you start to suffer, or it becomes a chore or an effort or an arduous task, to remind yourself of the benefits, scientific benefits, physiologically. Heart rate slows down, blood pressure comes down, memory improves, there's stress, anxiety, depression, all of that. It's so healing and it's proven. It's not something you have to prove to yourself, it has been proven over and over and over again. But for me personally, it's about something so much bigger. The physiological benefits, awesome. But if you're practicing with us, then you're on the spiritual path already. Even if you're brand new to it, you're on the path. And so knowing that the qualities of the illumined mind, the awakened mind, allows you to remind yourself to keep practicing, to keep coming back and gifting yourself. One of the qualities of an illumined mind is a panoramic vision. Quite often we walk around with blinkers on. We only see what we see, how it relates to us. But when you're awake, your vision just expands and you see things so much broader, past and future. Another quality of an illumined mind is a subtle awareness of the interior life of all beings, the pulsating energy running through all beings. And then with that awareness, we perceive the interconnectedness of all. We see the connection between the macrocosm and the microcosm, as inside, so outside. And space-time, we're able to kind of transcend during those experiences of deep meditation. I've had some profound experiences where I've been in a meditation practice for an hour or more and it felt like 5 minutes. Perception of time and space is transcended. And another quality of an illumined mind is that knowing the whole cosmos, the whole universe, through the particular. So you see the vastness of the universe in a flower. Got 5 more breaths. And so now when you ponder that question, what's my relationship with meditation? Can you feel, with that understanding and awareness, can you feel your relationship softening? We're going to do some myofascial release work. What you do is completely up to you. So help yourself up off your bolster and grab balls or a block or your books, whatever you're utilising. If you don't have any myofascial release equipment, any tennis balls or spiky balls or whatever, then waterfall. Bring your hips on top of the bolster, let your legs float to the sky, tuck your chin slightly, close your eyes, and this is where you stay for the next 5-6 minutes. Otherwise, if you've got balls, if you've got blocks, then just pick a part of your body that needs a little bit of attention and give it to yourself. Whilst you do that, dive into the depths of the ocean of consciousness. Tap into the awake mind that is Buddhi, that internal teacher. Place of all knowing. got just over 3 minutes to go. For those of you working with myofascial release, you've got 2 more minutes. So just keep doing what you're doing and go back to places or keep exploring. Do whatever you feel is appropriate. Last minute. Last 3 deep breaths. This takes us into our Shavasana, our final rest. So do whatever you want to do to set yourself up for that final rest. As many or as few props as you like. This is where this final rest, this Shavasana, is where we get to dive in deep. Being that witness that is the Buddhi. Place that can see clearly. Gently start to deepen your breath. As you do that, notice and ponder again, what's my relationship with the practice of meditation? Whenever you find yourself at a crossroads, or indecisive, unsure, that's when we turn in. That's where we dive in deep to the depths of the ocean of consciousness. Because when we tap into that place, we know. That's the place of knowing. Help yourself up to a comfortable seated position. If you need to move the body before you do that, then feel free. Once you're seated, hands come to heart center, and let's close the practice with an Om. Deep breath in. Thumbs to third eye center, we bow. My heart honours your heart. That place of knowing within me honours the same place that exists within you. When we're in that place together, we are one. Together we say Namaste. Namaste. That's it. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Have a beautiful night. See you soon.
See ya.
Bye.